So that's how the coaching carousel looks. But there's one job left, and that brings us, Elijah, into our Fitz take, where Joe Brady's first job after grad school was in 2017 with the New Orleans Saints as an offensive assistant under head coach Sean Payton. You remember, because after that, he went on to be the passing game coordinator slash offensive coordinator with LSU and leading them to one of the greatest college football seasons ever and helping them win a national championship. But instead of a reunion as the head coach, Brady, the architect of the Buffalo Bills offense, has elected to remain with the Bills and pull out of the Saints head coaching search. New Orleans had wanted to interview Brady a second time, along with Kellen Moore, which they have a interview set up with him today. We recorded the episode Sunday. They will be interviewing today, which is Monday. This also comes after a report from Timothy Jones of the State of the Saints podcast. Shout outs to him. He reported that the Saints had a strong chance of hiring Aaron Glenn as their head coach. However, Glenn requested that the team consider moving on from Mickey Loomis as general manager and allow him to be involved in the hiring of a new GM. The Saints were not willing to make this change. So, Elijah, was Brady smart to pass up on this job? And what do you think about the position the Saints have put them in, being the final team left, looking for a head coach?
To be honest with you, man, New Orleans has a lot of culture, right? Louisiana has a lot of culture. The Saints culture isn't the best. Like you stated earlier in these podcasts that Mickey Loomis should be fired. Aaron Glenn said the same thing. What that's saying is that because if you look at it, everybody in the Saints football team, there's bad contracts. They're always over the cap. They don't draft really well. What the heck is Mickey Loomis doing? So then you telling yourself, okay, if you expect me to give you my best, why I got to take the worst from somebody else? Because at the end of the day, say Aaron Glenn takes that job and you provide him with one of the worst rosters again, and he's going 3-14, 4-13, stuff like that. You're going to blame the head coach when you're not looking at the deeper picture of the general manager has a blame and a share in it too. Think about it. So for anybody that's thinking about, that wants the Saints job, they know what's at risk. I'm probably a one and done because Mickey Loomis isn't the best GM in the world and doesn't really work with people very well. You had one of the best coaches out there at one point who made the playoffs with the Broncos, hint Sean Payton. And then you lose him. I'm not really with some behind the scenes work with that. Then you bring in Dennis Allen, who's wasn't great at all. The culture there sucks. I'm just going to put it out there. It sucks. Jameis Winston was the light of the culture for the last couple of years, and he left and went to Cleveland. He's not the best quarterback, but he brings energy to the team. There's nobody on that team that I could look at and be like, okay, I'm happy for, and I want to, that brings energy to it. Mickey Loomis does a bad job, a very bad job of bringing people in, and I think the next head coach is going to be cautious. Now, I do see them getting one guy because he probably just won a job. His name is Mike McCarthy. But I think at the end of the day, you got to be cautious taking that job for sure because you possibly will be a one and done and everything we put on your shoulders. So that's telling you something. Joe Brady's backing out, and he could have an in-person interview next week because they're out the playoffs. Aaron Glenn, who was a hot candidate for a lot of teams, he's backing out. So I don't know who you plan to get, but for New Orleans, this got to be an eye-opener for Mickey Loomis for his job to be out there on the line because people want to win, but they know they can't win with him.
Yeah, man. And the thing about this is Joe Brady put this out before the AFC Championship game was played. So he's saying he saw how the dominoes were falling, and he saw that the only head coaching job that was left is the Saints job. He's saying no before he even get back for an interview. That says a lot. For starters, this was a smart move by Joe Brady because the Saints are $60 million. I'm like Chris Tucker, $60 million over the cap coming into this season. 60 M's, bro. They got old veterans taking up a whole bunch of money on their payroll. They have an unsure situation at quarterback. Derek Carr is mid. It is what it is. He's put up decent numbers throughout his career. He's made the playoffs one time. All in all, based on what you had in the past, Derek Carr is mid. He's not the answer. Okay. Do I believe that whoever gets the job next will be a one and done? No, because the Saints have built up a culture of giving coaches a little bit of a chance. And from what Mickey Loomis said in the press conferences when he was popping that gum, you know, I think that he wanted Dennis Allen to be around a little bit longer because he was naming off all these great head coaches, saying that these were the records that they had to start off their careers, and they eventually went on to be Hall of Fame head coaches. So I guess he was saying that Dennis Allen could turn it around after 2-3 years and become a Hall of Fame coach, which should really show you how far his mind ain't all the way there, right? The elevator not going all the way upstairs if he thinking that. Okay. But Sean Payton set the standard for the culture of head coaches. Bro, you get this job and you be here for a long time. People love you around here when you win. They feed you gumbo and jambalaya and throw you Mardi Gras beads and feed you king cake and all this other stuff. They take care of you around here when you win. But that's the problem. They haven't won in a very long time. Because of that, they are in this situation. Now, roster wise, they have some pieces that they can work with. But when you look at up top, Derek Carr, he's a $50 million cap hit. Cam Jordan, $23 million. Taysom Hill, $17 million. Eric McCoy, $16 million. Demario Davis, $17. Ryan Ramczyk, who hadn't played and is probably going to retire on paper, $23. Cesar Ruiz, $20. Carl Granderson, $21. Tyrann Mathieu, $12. Alvin Kamara, who just signed a new deal. You got all of these guys that's holding up money that you can't operate with. Anybody with good sense is not taking that job because they're gonna say, who I'm gonna add to the team? I can't go in free agency. I can't make no splash signing. I can only work through the draft. So you're asking whoever takes this job, which is really gonna boil down to at this point. You know, they did an interview with Anthony Weaver, Mike Kafka, which that makes zero sense because the Giants were terrible. But they interviewed both of them. Mike McCarthy is set to have another one. Kellen Moore, obviously, because he's going to be in New Orleans for the Super Bowl pretty soon. They're trying to go ahead and get his interview out of the way now. I think it's a two-man race between McCarthy and Kellen Moore. But whichever one of them get that job, hey man, you got a lot of mess to climb over. A lot of it. You got to figure this thing out. Both of them obviously being offensive-minded guys is something that a lot of Saints fans are wanting. They want somebody that can electrify the offense, very similar to what Sean Payton had in the past. And I get that. But at the end of the day, you just need somebody that can come in there and win. You need somebody that can come in there that can get you back to somewhat close of what you were, because the NFC South ain't no gauntlet. It's always that division where 1 to 2 games, a 10-7 record, 11-6, maybe a 12-5 wins you the division. But it's never no Minnesota Vikings, Detroit Lions, Green Bay Packers, NFC North this past year division. It's not like that. No, them days gone. That's back when Cam Newton and Jameis Winston and Drew Brees was going at it. No more. So I don't blame Joe Brady. He's in a much better situation in Buffalo right now. They played in the conference championship, obviously losing. But he has an opportunity now to sit back, wait for a better job to come open. If the Bengals start off horrible again, Zach Taylor will be gone. That's a much better situation with somebody that he is familiar with in Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. I wouldn't be surprised that if he's not sitting back and waiting for that job to come open. So The Saints have an opportunity, man, to make the final hire in this coaching carousel, but right now they are in a sticky situation.
Thank you so much for watching this clip of the Fitz Take podcast. Be sure to like this video and also subscribe to the YouTube channel. And also follow me and Elijah on our social media platforms. They will be linked down in the description. And remember, every episode of the Fitz Take podcast will air right here on the YouTube channel every Monday at 2 p.m. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.